Welcome back. Tonight we invite you to look beyond the surface to see what often goes unnoticed in the heart of our cities. As the sun sets and city lights flicker on, a silent crisis is unfolding beneath the glow of skyscrapers and the hum of traffic. Tonight we dive into the staggering impact of recent layoffs in the US. In just the past year, over 100,000 jobs have disappeared, each one representing a person, a family, a future suddenly thrown into uncertainty. These headlines may seem distant, but their effects ripple through every layer of society. Over 100,000 jobs have vanished, leading to a domino effect that ends for many on the streets. When a company downsizes, it's not just the employees who suffer. Local businesses lose customers, neighborhoods lose stability, and entire communities feel the shockwaves. The loss of a paycheck can quickly spiral into the loss of a home. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the human cost of these layoffs on homelessness in major cities. For many, the journey from a steady job to homelessness can happen in a matter of months. The faces you see on the streets are often those who once had stable lives, dreams and plans for the future. We'll explore the policies, people and paradoxes of a nation where losing a job can mean losing everything. How do safety nets fail? What support systems exist? And where do they fall short? We'll examine the tough choices families face between paying rent, buying groceries, or keeping the lights on. This is a story of human beings caught in a crisis, spiraling out of control. It's about resilience, but also about the breaking points that so many are reaching. Social workers, shelters and volunteers are working tirelessly, but the need is overwhelming and growing every day. Let's uncover the real stories behind the numbers. Tonight, we'll hear from those living this reality and from those fighting to make a difference. Because behind every statistic is a story, a life forever changed by the unseen domino effect. Let's start in New York City, a place that's long been a symbol of ambition, opportunity, and relentless energy. The city's skyline is instantly recognizable, its streets always alive with movement, and its reputation as the city that never sleeps is legendary. But beneath the dazzling lights and the constant buzz, there's a harsher reality that's impossible to ignore. Here, the homelessness crisis is as iconic as a yellow cab. It's woven into the city's fabric, visible on every block from the shadow of skyscrapers to the steps of brownstones. For many, the American dream has turned into a daily struggle for survival. Recent layoffs in tech and finance have added a terrifying new dimension to this crisis. Once stable jobs are vanishing overnight, leaving thousands scrambling to make ends meet. The ripple effects are felt everywhere, from the bustling business districts to the quiet corners of residential neighborhoods. Imagine being a graphic designer, suddenly unemployed, with severance covering only 2 months' rent. The clock starts ticking the moment you lose your job. Rent, bills, groceries, everything becomes a source of anxiety. The fear of eviction looms large, and the safety net feels paper-thin. People like Maria, a former project manager, now navigate the city's overwhelmed shelter system. She once managed teams and deadlines. Now she manages uncertainty and the daily challenge of finding a safe place to sleep. Her story is just one of thousands, each with its own heartbreak. Mayor Adams's strategy of clearing encampments is a band-aid on a shark bite, moving the problem without solving it. Tents disappear, but the people remain, forced to start over somewhere else, often with even less security than before. The cycle repeats and frustration grows on all sides. The right to shelter is stretched to its limit, with the system buckling under the influx of laid-off locals and asylum seekers. Shelters are packed beyond capacity, and families are sometimes split up or sent far from their communities. The promise of a safe haven is fading fast. The city spends billions on emergency measures like renting hotels, a costly stopgap, not a solution. These temporary fixes offer a roof, but little stability. The underlying issues, affordable housing shortages, stagnant wages, and rising living costs, remain unaddressed. Personal stories are gut-wrenching, like a software engineer applying for jobs on a public computer, fearing theft in a crowded shelter. Professionals who once thrived in high-rise offices now compete for basic resources, their futures uncertain, their dignity tested daily. The line between stability and the street has vanished for thousands in New York. In a city built on dreams, the reality for many is a daily fight to hold on to hope, as the gap between those who have and those who have not grows wider with each passing day. In Los Angeles, the city known for its glitz, glamour, and endless possibilities, dreams often turn to nightmares for thousands caught in the grip of a relentless homelessness crisis. Beneath the palm trees and the Hollywood lights, a different reality unfolds, one marked by struggle, uncertainty, and survival on the streets. Entire tent cities now stretch for blocks under the city's sprawling freeways, transforming these concrete arteries into makeshift neighborhoods. It's as if a dystopian film set has come to life, but for many this is not fiction. It's their daily existence, hidden in plain sight from the world that rushes by overhead. Recent waves of layoffs, especially in the entertainment and tech sectors, have poured gasoline on an already raging fire. With no legal right to shelter in Los Angeles, many who once had stable jobs now find themselves navigating a system with few safety nets, forced to search for work from park benches or library computers. The city's response often feels like a cruel game of whack-a-mole. Encampments are cleared, only to reappear elsewhere. These sweeps offer no real solutions, just a temporary shuffling of people from one block to the next, leaving trauma and uncertainty in their wake. The impact is deeply personal. People like David, a former lighting technician for major film productions, now find themselves homeless after sudden job cuts. Once part of the city's creative engine, he now carries his resume and a few tools, hoping for another chance. The scale of the crisis is staggering. Over 75,000 people in Los Angeles County are without a home, a number that continues to rise as rents soar and wages stagnate. Sidewalks, parks, and underpasses have become crowded with tents, each one a testament to a life upended. Proposition HH was meant to be a beacon of hope, funding new affordable housing projects across the city. But progress has been painfully slow and costs have ballooned, leaving many to wonder if help will arrive in time for those who need it most. The crisis is impossible to ignore. From the iconic Venice Beach boardwalk to the shadow of the Hollywood sign, and even in some of LA's wealthiest neighborhoods, the presence of homelessness is a stark reminder that no corner of the city is untouched. These recent layoffs have exposed the raw nerve of a failed housing market and a fraying social safety net. For many Angelinos, the dream of a better life in the City of Angels has never felt more distant or more fragile. In Chicago, the homelessness crisis is severe, though less visible than in LA. Recent layoffs in manufacturing and logistics have hit hard, pushing families over the edge. The shelter system is overwhelmed, turning away families nightly. Rising rents, eviction moratoriums ending, and unemployment create a bottleneck of misery. Thousands of students face homelessness, impacting their education and stability. Community efforts are remarkable but can't fix systemic poverty and housing issues. The Bring Chicago Home initiative faces political opposition, delaying solutions. The crisis is urgent, with people losing jobs and facing eviction now. In Houston, the Housing First model has reduced homelessness significantly, but layoffs in oil, gas, and tech sectors test the system's limits. The model tackles chronic homelessness but struggles with a sudden influx of newly homeless. The housing process is slow, and people facing eviction need immediate help. Layoffs create a new class of homeless individuals, skilled but blindsided by economic shifts. Houston's challenge is scaling up its system to meet the growing demand. In Phoenix, the relentless heat is a mortal threat to the unsheltered. The city faces a dramatic increase in homelessness with a lack of shelter beds. Layoffs in construction and service industries worsen the crisis. Health consequences are dire, with pavement temperatures causing burns and dehydration. The city's response is slow, with legal battles over encampment clearances. Layoffs push people into homelessness with no margin for error. In Philadelphia, layoffs destabilize families, pushing them into homelessness. Family homelessness is growing, with shelters full and long waiting lists. Families double up with relatives, leading to hidden homelessness. The impact on children is devastating, with trauma affecting their education. Community organizations fight an uphill battle against economic despair. The core problem is a lack of living wage jobs and affordable housing. In San Antonio, community generosity is strained by layoffs. Haven for Hope, the largest shelter, feels the pressure of increased demand. Layoffs in tourism and hospitality sectors send new waves to their doors. Local initiatives are vital but run on limited budgets and donations. The system relies too heavily on community goodwill, needing government support. In San Diego, the housing crisis is supercharged by job losses. The cost of living is astronomical, with no affordable housing options. People live in vehicles facing parking restrictions and enforcement. Layoffs turn a crisis into a catastrophe, with survival the only option. The city is caught between its paradise image and grim economic reality. In Dallas, rapid growth creates a housing crisis amid layoffs. The housing market caters to high-paying jobs, leaving others priced out. Layoffs in tech and finance add to the crisis, with people unable to afford the city. Homelessness is spread across the county, complicating outreach efforts. The economic boom creates a shadow crisis, highlighting the need for affordable housing. In San Jose, the tech industry's wealth contrasts with severe homelessness. Recent layoffs create a new cohort of homeless tech workers. High salaries don't buy security in a costly housing market. Homeless encampments exist near tech campuses, highlighting inequality. The layoffs reveal the vulnerability of even well-paid workers. After exploring 10 cities, we see a systemic failure pushing people onto the streets. The need for systemic solutions is critical, but hope exists. Houston's Housing First model and community efforts in Chicago and San Antonio show potential. Solutions require political will and public support, treating housing as a human right. Get involved, share this video, support local organizations, and demand action from officials. This crisis affects our neighbors, and together we can make a difference.